Hello, my name is Yonis Dizol. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Piskelapp. I'm using Piskelapp to create icons as well as animations and characters, non-playable characters, enemies, etc. etc. So by using Piskelapp, you can actually generate your free, basically, graphics. So visit piskelapp.com, and if you're not already, create an account. It's free. So I'm just going to click create a simple sprite. Now I have logged on. And what I want to do, I want to create a sprite. Basically, it looks like a sound icon. So I'm just going to put a square here. Click and drag. And I'm going to use here the fill color to fill this in. And I'm just going to use the oval tool here. Click and drag. And I'm just going to use the fill color again. Okay. Now I'm just going to put here, let's use the pen tool. And I'm just going to change the color slightly. And basically, I'm just going to generate an overlay. Okay, just going to remove here the corners. If I hold the control key down and use the wheel on my mouse, we'll be able to zoom in and zoom out. Just going to change this to black again. Click and drag. Choose gray again. And I'm going to duplicate this layer now. So the top layer, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a red X. Start from here. And can play around a little bit, so I'm a bit rough here. And here on this icon, just gonna make it as it's transmitting. Just gonna change that to gray. Let's Control Z to undo. Control Z to undo. Pull that. Let's remove that a little bit. Okay, so I've got the sound on and the sound off. That's a very good icon there. I'm pretty sure you can do a better job than this. Okay, now I'm ready to export both pictures now. I'm just gonna go here to this icon, select export, and I'm just gonna download. I'm just gonna change the sizes to, let's make it 250 by 250. I'm just gonna change it to PNG, and in fact I'll use zip. Okay, I'll use the prefix sprite, that's okay, and click download. Okay. I'm gonna download and open my zip folder. So I've got now these two pictures, sprite 0 and sprite 1. So I'm gonna click and drag them to my images. So I've got these two images now. Okay. So now what I need to do is go to my construct 3, go to the layout, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to insert a new object. This object is a sprite object. I'm going to call this SPR for sprite, BTN for button, sound on, and click here. So the sound on, I'm going to click on this folder icon, and I'm going to go on my images, and if I hold the control key down while I'm using my wheel on my mouse, I will be able to see, okay, this is the sound on icon. In fact, I'm just going to rename that while I'm here. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Here's the rename. I'm just going to call it sound on, and I'm going to right click here, scroll down, and rename. I'm gonna call this sound off. As I said earlier, you will be able to do a better job than me. So I'm gonna double click now on the sound on. Okay, and I'm just gonna use the crop button here. Okay, so I'm happy with that, and I'm gonna exit that. In fact, I'll use a frame. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. I'm just gonna change the color a little bit. So I'm just gonna give a little grayscale. Let's use the fill color, which is this icon here, and I'm just going to use light gray here and click on it. Okay, so this will be the original state, and if you hover over, it's going to go to this frame basically. Just create a little animation there. Okay, I'm just going to exit this now, and in fact, let's go back to the animation, and I'm just going to set the speed to 0, so it's going to always show me the 0 frame. I'm going to exit this, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add another sprite, insert a new sprite, and I'm going to call this sprite SPR for sprite, SPR, BTN for button, and then sound off. I'm going to click insert, click here. I'm going to click on the folder and import the sound off icon. I'm going to crop this icon, and I'm just going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to select the frame number 1, and I'm just going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm just going to make this light gray. Oops, Control Z to undo. You made a mistake. Okay, this will do. I've got a little bit more black there and there. Okay, so I'm happy with this now. So I've got this perfect. Okay, if I click on the animation, I'm going to set the speed to 0 as well, and I'm going to exit. So I'm just going to change the size to 250 by 250 on that one as well. So 250, 250. Oops, what happened there? I've changed the size 72 by 63. I'll do the same here, 70, 63. Okay, so I've got exactly the same size. Okay, cool. Just going to leave them as they are now. And what I'm going to do, in the previous video tutorial, I showed you how to basically create the buttons for sound on and sound off. Just going to place this here on the side, and I'm just going to change this, the position for that ones to 0, 0. In fact, that's not good. Let's put it here. That will do. So the position is 36 by 37. I'm gonna copy these figures, and I'm just gonna paste them here and press the enter key. So I've got one picture just straight above the other one. I'm just gonna move them around a little bit. Actually, it doesn't look like it's, yeah, that's not right. So 48, 37. Enter. I think it's because of the center point. It's in different position. Probably that's why. So you can use your arrow keys to move things to the right position. Okay. So I'm just going to move them now both here. Alright. Okay, now what we will need to do is go to the event sheet and add a new event. We need to add a mouse event, so it's not there yet. Let's go back to the layout. I'm going to right click and select insert new object. Scroll down and select mouse. Click insert. So you can see now my mouse object is added on the project. If I go to the event sheet now and add a new event, I'm going to add a mouse event. Click next. It's going to be on object clicked. Click next. The object, it's going to be, let's select the sound off. So left click on the sound off, done. And I'm going to add another event. It's going to be a mouse event again. It's going to be on object clicked. The object this time is going to be the sound on. Alright. So what I need to do now here is basically replicate what I've got here. So for the stop all sounds, so if I click on this button, I want all the sounds to stop. I'm going to hold the control key down or the command key on if you're using Mac, and click and drag to place this action here. I'm going to click on this action. I'm going to hold the control key. If you're using Mac, use the command key, click and drag to paste basically the same action here. So it's going to play the sounds, it's going to stop the sounds. Now the next thing we need to do is basically make things visible and invisible. So I'm going to add an action. So when somebody clicks on this button, I want the icon here to change its visibility. So visible, set visible to invisible. And at the same time, I want the other button, this icon, sorry, to set visibility to visible. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing here, but vice versa. I'm just going to hold the shift key down. So click on the first action and hold the shift key down and click on the second action. And then I'm going to click and drag the control key on my keyboard to replicate these actions. And the only thing I need to do now is just change this to visible and this to invisible. So I'm going to double click here, change that to visible, and I'm going to double click here and change that to invisible. I hope I have not confused you. It's good to use shortcuts. This will speed up the process of the development process. So now if I click on play, so the sound's playing. So if I click here, oops, let's have a look here. If I click there, okay, I think there is an issue with the picture. So I think when you have pictures like this, you're best off. Oops. Let's zoom out a little bit. Just gonna save this project. OneDrive. Fact, I don't want to log on. Can I save it? Google Drive. Yeah, this will do. Let's put level 2 codes work. Macro soundtrack. That will do. Now the reason why I saved it is because I want to refresh this page because something happened. So if I go to cloud and double click on here and double click here, I'm reopening the project. So yeah, it's allowed me to basically highlight them now. So if in the future you have something like this and you won't be able to access it, just save your work and make sure you refresh the page and it should be alright. Let's see if that's the issue that I had. Yes, it's hiding the wrong button. So let's go back to the events. So on left click, stop all sounds. So we're making this invisible. We make this visible. And if we click on that one, we play the sounds. We set this to visible. We set this to invisible. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place this a bit here, side by side. Let's see if they work. So if I click here, yeah, the sound is off. If I click here, the sound is on. Okay, this works. However, when I actually load the page for the first time, I don't want to see this icon, so I'm going to select this icon, go to the properties and set the visibility to visible. So uncheck this box. So when I press play now, okay, so it's gone now. Okay, all right, let's try to place them on top of each other again. And let's see if this fixes the issue. Okay, something there. It doesn't like that. So let's put it a bit further forward. Yeah. So even though it's invisible, it still is activating this element. So yeah, you're best off having them side by side. I think. Yeah, this is a quick fix. So you have sound on and sound off. Enable the hover. So we're going to go to the events. And I'm just going to add an event. It's going to be a mouse event. And then it's going to be cursor is over an object. That's the one that I want. And this object is this object here. Done. And I'm just going to do the same thing for the other one. Mouse. Cursor is over an object. The object is this one this time. Done. Okay. When the mouse is over the object, I want this to be this set frame. I'm just going to put here frame 1. And then I'm going to add another action, system action. I'm just going to say wait. I'm just going to say wait 0.1 seconds. Click done. And then I'm going to add another action, and I'm going to double click on that one and set frame to 0. So when the mouse is over, it goes back to frame 1, which is the gray background. Then it's going to wait for a split of a second, basically, and it's going to go back to frame 0. This will happen when the mouse goes away from this object. Let me show you what I mean. So when I go over, this is what happens. When I move my mouse cursor away, it goes back to frame 0. Frame 1, frame 0, frame 1, frame 0. So I've created basically an animation. So I'm going to do now the same thing for the other one. So I'm going to add a new action. It's going to be this object, set frame to frame 1. I'm just going to duplicate this one by holding the control key down, clicking and dragging. And I'm going to duplicate that one by holding the control key, clicking and dragging. Double click here and change this to frame number 0. This will speed up the process. So if I click play now, if I hover over, okay. If I click on it, it goes back to the other one. If I hover over, okay, it gives me the effect. So if I click on that, okay. And this is how you created the animation. Now, I don't know why is acting like that. This is part of the software. I don't think I've got control over that. If I think of a way to overcome this issue, maybe a little cheat there. The only thing I can think of is put another object there to stop it. So in between these two objects, in fact, let's do it now. I'm just going to create a little cheat there. It's a glitch on the software though. So I'm just going to call it SPR sound BTN S for separator. So I'm just going to click insert, and I'm just going to put make an oval and change the color to change this color to red. Control Z to undo. Okay, I'm going to click and drag from the center. So if I hold the shift key down, I'm going to create a perfect circle. This will do. I'm just going to click crop. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to reduce the size. Let's hold the shift key down. Okay. So I just left it to this color so you can actually see what's going on. I'm just going to put this, right click and Z order. I'm going to say send to the top layer. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the event sheet, and when the user clicks on this button here, I'm going to add another action. I'm going to set this object, set the visibility to invisible as well. And when I'm going to hold the control key down and click and drag here, and when somebody clicks on the play the sound, I'm going to set this to visible again. Obviously, you're going to change the colors yourself. Okay. So if I click now, okay. So I kind of bypass the issue. Still need to click on. So this area, okay, this area is causes the issue. If I click on the border, it's alright. Okay, so no, I have no idea why it does that. It's a bit tricky. Okay, hopefully it's my computer. However, if it's not my computer and there's a glitch on the software, I will report this issue to the Skira. So if that's not the case, just place the icons next to each other, and this will fix the issue definitely. So in this video tutorial, I'll show you how to control the sound by actually using your own bespoke buttons, how to create a little animation, so hover button, okay, hover event, and basically how to create your own icons by using Piskelapp. Hope you learned something new today. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.